FM.
What happens when the whispers of history become a force you can't outrun? This week, we are exploring the shadowy realm of Native American curses. We look beyond the Hollywood myths to investigate documented cases of the killing of an Indian diplomat, of sacred land violations, and the chilling consequences that seem to follow those who disrespect the past. Tonight on Newsworthy, two words and two question marks.
He's alive! Have you checked the children? Get out!
You have scoured the podcast world and finally found us, Newsworthy with Steve and Jerry, where we delve into all things mysterious, macabre, or out of this world, and decide if they are truly newsworthy. Two words and two question marks.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. Buying your first home can be overwhelming, but here are 5 tips to make the process go smoother. Number one, find a lender, me, Ed Locke, that can answer any questions you might have and help you get pre approved. There are multiple options available based on your situation. Number two, work with a real estate agent you can trust. Number three, don't rush the process. Take your time and know that the process could take some time. Number four, consider all the costs. Number five, get a home inspection and review it with your realtor. Keep these tips in mind, budget for yourself, and you'll be that much closer to making your dream of homeownership a reality. So reach out to me at 502-680-0953. NMLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, NMLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity.
Well, that was for Brett. Even though Brett's not here, he had more important things to do. I think he's getting a pedicure today, is what I think he said he was doing.
You're so mean to Brett when he can't make it.
Well, I mean, there's a reason his name's not on the logo, right?
You do realize that someday his beautiful little daughters are going to grow up being typical curious kids. They're going to want to wonder the type of things that dad is into, and they're going to listen to some of these podcasts. And one of these days, his beautiful little daughter, Leah, whose birthday it is when? Oh, yeah, today, is going to listen to this and say, Dad, can you believe how mean these people were saying why you didn't come to their show because you chose to come to my birthday? You do realize that, right?
Yeah, and then she'll be like, however, Dad, they had such a good point because I can turn 6 any day. You
I see.
can only be on the show every
I
other
see.
Wednesday.
All
So
right, that's it. Brett, your fault. 100%.
totally, I mean, totally. And do something about
How
them
dare
bunions, dude, for real. Hey,
And the cankles too while he's at it, right?
I mean, if you could, absolutely. My guy literally ran a marathon the other day. So
He did.
I don't, something wrong with people who like to run. I'm just saying that there's a mental defect there.
Oh my goodness.
Mental defect. So we got some new stuff coming up. Just to start preparing people, it's November. We, as a entire crew, are going to take 2 weeks off in December. The second and third, or the third and fourth week of December, we're going to take off.
Time to reset, regroup.
Yeah. We've done this program over 3 years now, and we've never taken time off like that.
We have not.
So,
And we do have some big plans for the following year. And we're trying to make sure we do that right.
yeah, some pretty cool, exciting new stuff that's coming. So We are going to take a 2-week hiatus. We just want to let our fans and our listeners know so that they don't say, well, there's another one that didn't make it.
Right. Absolutely.
So we are planning on taking 2 full weeks off. I'm going to be in Tennessee at least one of those weeks. So
Nice. Very nice.
But yeah, so don't fear if you tune in the second week of second week of December and you don't hear us.
Second week of having to experience newsworthy withdrawals.
I mean, it's going to be tough.
I know.
However, what you can do is go to Spotify and you can listen to over 300 episodes.
All those back episodes.
And binge all you want to.
There you go.
Currently, the most listened to episode on Spotify. Now, that's not all of the platforms, but on Spotify, do you know what it is off the top of your head?
Do not.
Take a guess.
I do, but I can't remember.
Out of all of the episodes we've done, what do you think would be the #1 episode on Spotify?
I'm trying to remember when you went on Wes's show, and then a week or two later, that was before Spotify, correct?
Yep.
Because we had our biggest number, like 300 and something, then thanks to Wes, but that was before Spotify. I'm not for sure. So if you're marking that one out, I'm not for sure. What is it?
Our biggest show on Spotify currently
Area
is
51, maybe?
Nope. You
Okay.
would think, given our listenership and Area 51, the Patterson Gimlin film, something of that nature.
None of that.
The #1 episode on Spotify for Newsworthy with Steve and Jerry, is Vampires
No,
of Dayton, Ohio.
I'll be darned.
Just is
Of all time or a certain time range?
of all time.
I'll be darned.
Yep.
Go figure.
So we have a strong listenership up in Ohio, and they must appreciate the nod to Dayton,
Yes,
where I
the-
used to live, man.
Yep.
Just outside of Dayton.
as the old boy said, I'd have never thunk it. So did you have a good week? Good Halloween?
It's gotten better.
I had a
busy.
very good one.
I have been so busy the last few weeks, but yes.
This year at the office, they requested everyone wear their costume to work. And I did. And I told everyone I was dressing up as Invisible Man and not to worry if no one could find me. Just meant my costume was working.
Very good. Very good. I'm impressed. In fact, I would like to know why you chose not to wear that costume here tonight. That would have been awesome.
Well, the secret to our huge numbers, we think, is the fact that now people can see us, right? We're
Yes.
doing YouTube and all that. So why destroy that with an invisible costume?
Well, what you could do is just use the costume from the neck up.
Oh, there you
That
go.
would help me
No.
tremendously.
Probably hit for listening audience as well.
That would be good.
Well,
That'd be
we could
good.
just have you that up everyone.
So yeah, we got a bunch of new stuff. We've been retooling and realigning and redoing some stuff. I'm not going to give any details away yet. But come the first week in January, we hope to have a brand new show, basically.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
Same genre, just new.
Yeah,
try
yeah,
to make it better, improve on it.
Absolutely. That's the goal.
More of Goose.
No.
No, Goose. He says he doesn't want you
Get
on the
out of
show.
here.
Steve's cat decided to make an impromptu appearance.
Shoot. It's not my cat. I don't have cats.
I have pictures to prove otherwise.
You liar. AI can do glorious
Pictures
things
of
these
Steve
days.
cuddling with his cats.
AI can do glorious things.
This is preceding AI. These go back a few years. And if required, I will get your wife to testify as to the authenticity of these photos.
Speaking of phones and AI and stuff of that nature, my cell phone accidentally took 10-minute video of my shoes yesterday.
10 minutes. Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
Yeah, the footage was great though.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. For anyone that doesn't have a foot fetish, they would like that footage, right?
Even if they did. I have
I
very,
gotcha.
I have very nice feet for a dude.
I see. I'll take your word for it.
I mean, I can show you.
I'm good. I'm good.
All right.
Thought we cleared this up a long time ago. Any photos were welcome to be sent, just no foot pics. Remember?
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
No
you
foot
can
pics.
send all of your foot pics right to our
Steve
website
Lindsay.
at newsworthywithstephenjerry.com. Hit the contact button and send away. Jerry looks at that every single day.
That means I will never again be able to check the contents of our email. So that's now another one of your jobs.
I got enough jobs, thank you.
You got another one now.
now.
Sorry about your luck.
Oh man, interesting topic tonight, Jerry. Interesting topic.
That it is.
And let's preface this conversation tonight. What in the hell, Ladybug, right
Yep.
there in our studio.
My grandsons adore these things.
Wow, they
I don't know.
bite.
They love, but tell them they'll walk around, they'll get them on their hand, walk
You
around,
ever been bit by one of them things?
and they
Hurt?
will cry. If one of the others takes it out of their hand, they'll cry.
Wow,
Love
way to take
ladybugs.
that one. I hate ladybugs.
They love them.
I hate any kind of bugs. Bugs in general are terrible. I hate them.
A lot of bugs are good,
Not
beneficial.
in my house.
Nah, can't argue with that. But impossible to keep them all out.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the older the house, the more holes there are to get into. I've learned that.
Yep. And this one is what? Right at 100, if not
Nin-
100 years old?
1920 was when it was built.
I'll be darned, 105 years old.
And I plan on hopefully dying here
There
at some
you- there
point.
you go.
I love this place.
Absolutely. There's a lot to love.
it-
Beautiful. So much. What's the opposite? The word I'm thinking this is the opposite of a cookie cutter house that we make today. This is the
Plenty of
opposite of that.
character.
Character.
Yeah,
It does.
it does. It has a lot of character.
Yep.
It requires work every day, and a lot of times I don't get that done. But
So do most 105-year-old homes.
it's very functional, and as long as it
Very
maintains
beautiful.
the function, I continue to be okay with it.
There you go.
Tonight's topic can't be addressed without getting a little political.
I would agree with that.
And I know that we're not a political show anymore, and the politics we're talking aren't really of today,
Right.
but are of our government and their mistreatment, and there's no
Yes.
other way of putting it, of the American Indian and Native American
100%
Indians.
agree.
And because of the way we treated them, there are many curses and afflictions that Native American shamans tried to inflict upon the white man, and some with some very good success, I would argue.
Seems that way.
Now, I say that to say this. We still, in America today, treat the Native Americans really bad.
Maybe not quite as bad as we used to, but still not good at all.
Not good at all.
I mean, I
A-
say not quite as bad because we don't kill them by the thousands
No.
openly like we did on the Trail of
we do it
Tears,
slowly and by
Yes.
attrition and by keeping them
but
addicted.
it's still not
and,
good at all.
There are, and if this offends you, I apologize. You don't, but it's the truth. We shove these people onto the worst lands that we could possibly find.
And then a few years later, if we thought we'd come up with a reason that we liked or wanted those lands, kicked them off that land.
And made them into even worse land.
Yes.
Today's Native American Indians, although a proud race, are in a proud faction within our country, are very high. The numbers are astronomical for drug addiction, alcoholism,
Suicide, depression
suicide,
rates.
depression,
All of that.
government assistance. Let me back up and just say that I believe that a lot of those are because of the amount of government assistance they receive. They have no
And were forced to take because they had no other option.
right. And when
They
you
didn't want
don't,
that.
when you can't grow yourself, when you can't aspire to be better, it allows for a very deep hole to be dug, mentally, physically. And we've done this to this group of people. We talk about, we can sit here and we can point fingers all over the world about the Christians that are being persecuted in Nigeria that has been popular in the news. We're doing that stuff right here in our own country, and there are fixes.
To the original inhabitants of the country.
Yeah, there are fixes. There are things that we could be doing. There are solutions. Now, I didn't mean to get all political, but I felt like those things need to be said.
I agree. You can't hardly go into this without giving a little background
Right.
on where most of these curses originated.
Right.
And that is a very good summary of where these curses originated
You know,
and why
when-
they originated.
When you treat people in such a way that you dehumanize them.
And dehumidify as well.
Well,
Suck the water right out of them.
yeah, there's that. This is what you get.
It is. Sad but true.
Excuse me.
You are excused.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
You're quite welcome.
So anyway, I think we got 2 or 3 really good, and I'm using air quotes, good things that we want to cover today. But I think we should go back and kind of understand to get an understanding of what a Native American curse looks like in folklore, at least. Native American curses are a staple of American folklore, often rooted in oral traditions, but frequently romanticized or exaggerated by non-native storytellers, especially during colonial times and beyond. Importantly, these tales aren't always authentic in the sense because they were I can't say that word. Hyperbole by white people to stoke a fear, to further make us fear this particular group of folks because we didn't understand them.
Yep.
True Native American spiritual beliefs vary widely over the 500 different tribes that were in America, emphasizing balance with nature and spirits and ancestors, much more so than curses is a central theme or something evil. That is really not how that works. Concepts like curses might appear in cautionary tales about disrespecting sacred sites, breaking certain taboos, harming the land, but they're almost always more about the consequences, spiritual imbalance leading to illness or bad luck, more than Hollywood style hexes. For the life of me, Jerry, I don't understand why, before we go on the show, that you don't open like 4 of those and put them in a bowl. It just blows me away. You are such a smart dude.
We covered this.
I know, but
That would take all of the fun out of this.
Well, I can assure you that our listeners don't want to listen to you unwrapping papers.
Well, they probably would because this one is Jolly Rancher mango flavor. No, it's not very popular. If they've never had it, best PSA I could give of the day. Try it. Jolly Rancher mango. Please go ahead.
Well, try it, but at least have it open before you go live on the air.
But I need like 6 or 7. I can't open all those. Can you imagine how many bugs there would be here if I opened all those
Not if you ate them all.
at once?
Well, the bugs aren't. You make it sound like our studio is just roasted with bugs.
No, you
We've
missed the
had
point.
one.
You missed the point. Jolly Ranchers are so good and the aroma is so enticing, it would bring bugs before our show was over. It would bring in bugs from 2 miles away.
No,
Yes, it would. Trust me. You don't want to see the consequences. We better not go there.
you're right. I don't. The first curse I want to talk about tonight is a curse that we have touched on before here on the show.
Yep.
It is of Shawnee tribe, Chief Cornstalk. Now, Chief Cornstalk was a unique individual in Indian lore, and mainly in the fact that how he interacted with the white man back in the day. Most of the time was a very educated, as far as a very astute tribal chief. Understood that white men were here, they're not going away, so let's try to negotiate with them as best we can most of the time. Now, obviously, he got to be chief by doing some pretty bad stuff. We'll get into some of that. And he did fight against colonial expansionism, which ultimately led to his demise at one point. But let's just get into it. So a little bit of the background. Chief Cornstalk And I cannot say his. I tried for 2 hours today
Chief
trying to save
Cornstalk's good
his,
enough.
his actual Indian
Right.
name. I apologize. Was a Shawnee leader who initially fought against the colonial expansion during Lord Dunmore's War in 1774, but later sought peace, signing treaties with the Virginia colonists. In 1777, while visiting Fort Randolph near modern day Point Pleasant, West Virginia, that name sounds familiar. We'll go into that why. To warn of an impending British backed native attack, Cornstalk and his son were murdered by American militiamen in a paranoid fit. The Shawnee revered the Ohio Valley as haunted by spirits even before the colonization, adding to the evil lore. In fact, most people thought Kentucky was the land of blood because of all of the evilness that, and you moved back here. So that was a foretelling and a foreshadowing of that. So the curse, as he lay dying from gunshot wounds, Cornstalk reportedly invoked the Great Spirit. I was the borderman's friend many times that I have saved him from his people from harm. For this may the curse of the Great Spirit rest upon this land. May it be blighted by nature. May it be blighted in its hopes. May the strength of its people be paralyzed by the stain of our blood. That curse is blamed for over 200 years of disasters in Point Pleasant, including, beginning in 1966, the Mothman sightings, winged omens predicting doom, such as the catastrophic Silver Bridge collapse in 1967 that killed 46 people, frequent floods, fires, economic decline. Locals still avoid the area at night, citing ghost lights and phantoms. Stories appear all the way back in the early 19th century, settler accounts in modern books like American Hauntings. Shawnee's oral histories confirm Cornstalk's murder as betrayal. However, the dramatic curse phrasing likely evolved in white folklore to heighten guilt over the killing. So it was very unlikely that his, how do we say, curse was actually a curse. In fact, had he, given the violent nature of his death, he probably had very little time to say anything before he succumbed to his injuries, to be honest.
Multiple gunshot wounds, yes.
Yeah, especially with back in those days, there was nothing you could do for that. So, Jerry, what do you think, man? The curse of Cornstalk.
Here's some of the first thoughts that go through. As you were reading this, you talked about some of the evil things that he did, and he went down in history as being one of, early on, he reformed later, but he went down in history as being one of the evil Indian chiefs because he did participate in the killing of a lot of white men. And here's the thought that originally went through my head before you even got to the curse. What would we do if a group of people came to America today and decided that they were going to take over a country and run us out and send us all to certain little plots of land that they called reservations? How would we react? Would we not try to defend our country with our very lives? Would we not do everything possible, including killing these people to get them out of our country? That's all the Indians were doing, was trying to protect their homes.
Yeah. In this particular case, they hadn't even got to the reservation part yet. It was just a matter of protecting your home.
Right.
And I'm just going to tell you, if somebody comes into my home and they're not invited, I'm shooting.
And
you
yes,
know,
if
I'm
you thought they
defending
had
my
the
home.
intent. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So
Just as a little bit of background to this, Jerry, just because you brought it up, Cornstalk rose to prominence in the 1760s as an actual war chief. He allied with the French against British colonies, originally colonists encroaching on Shawnee hunting grounds west of the Appalachians. He was a key figure in Pontiac's Rebellion in 1763, where Shawnee forces ambushed British forts. And by 1774, as Virginia Governor Lord Dunmore sought to seize the Ohio country, Cornstalk led a coalition of Shawnee, Mingo, and Delaware warriors against Colonel Andrew Lewis's militia at the Battle of Point Pleasant. For a chief to be so highly revered, to be so highly respected that multiple tribes would unite and fight under him, has only happened a few times in Indian lore. Chief Cornstalk is one of those times.
Did hold on one second. I'm trying to share something to the screen. Let me know if you can see it. Did that come up?
Yep.
This is a memorial of the, and I'll just read it. Pontiac's War, massacre of white families of Muddy Creek and of the Clendians near here by a band of Shawnee Indians led by Chief Cornstalk. In 1763, it completed the destruction of the early settlements in the Greenbrier Valley. There's a memorial of this horrible massacre that he committed. One of the comments on this Facebook post mentions, and I think it's by an Indian that made the post. I'm not positive about that, but he said it's interesting that if it's white people being killed, it's a massacre. Yet it's never a massacre if it's Indians being killed. And we killed thousands and thousands of Indians who were doing nothing but trying to protect their land.
The Battle of Point Pleasant is called, it was a 12-hour battle. It was originally called the First Battle of the Revolution by West Virginians. It was a brutal stalemate. Hundreds were killed on both sides. Cornstalk's forces finally withdrew after heavy losses, but the defeat forced him to sign the original Treaty of Camp Charlotte, ceding vast lands south of the Ohio River. And so began the white man's land grab.
Yes, that's the way that we would get the land.
Yeah.
We would start moving in. We would take over small bits. We would wait until we pissed some Indians off and they retaliated. They would kill one or two people and we would declare war and then wipe them out until they signed a treaty.
It's funny to know that we haven't changed our tactics in
Isn't it?
colonization in 300 years, 200
Isn't it
plus
though?
years. Yeah. So that was General Cornstalk. Now, Cornstalk is a fascinating person, and we could spend 3 hours just talking about him. I don't want to do that because we got a couple of more great curses that we want to kind of get to the bottom of. But if you are interested at all in what leadership, true leadership, I believe, looks like, I would encourage you to read about General or Chief Cornstalk, because he was smart enough to realize we can't beat the white man at their own game. We can't beat them through force. We have to negotiate. And unfortunately, that cost him his life. But, it was bad.
Yeah, that it was.
So you have probably the funniest named curse that I've ever been a part of. And because,
Probably one you've heard of before, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
The curse of Tippecanoe.
I always say it is tip a canoe because every time I get in the damn canoe, it wants to tip over with me.
There you go. That, yeah, I agree. Same. The curse of Tippecanoe, also called Tecumseh's curse. Have you ever heard of a curse that targets United States presidents? And more specifically, only the ones that are elected in years ending in 0? Sounds like something out of a conspiracy thriller, right? But this one is actually rooted in American history, Native resistance, and a string of eerie coincidences that span over 100 years. Today, we're diving into the legend of the curse of Tippecanoe, also known as Tecumseh's curse. To understand the curse, you got to go back to the early 1800s, to the forest and frontier lands of the American Midwest. This was a time of expansion, conflict, broken treaties, many of which. And at the center of it all was a Shawnee leader named Tecumseh. And he was no ordinary warrior. He was considered by many to be a visionary, a man who dreamed of uniting all the Native American tribes into a confederacy strong enough to resist the push of the white settlers. Can you imagine if that had come to pass?
Yeah.
If all of the tribes had actually united?
Sheer numbers would have eventually overwhelmed.
He had gone a long way into seeing that come to fruition. alongside his brother. And again, this is a name I'm going to butcher, but I'll try it. His brother Tenskwatawa, who was also known as the Prophet. They built a settlement called Prophetstown. It's near the Tippecanoe River, so that's where the name comes from, near the Tippecanoe River in what is now Indiana. But in 1811, while Tecumseh was away rallying support with other Indian tribes, U.S. forces led by William Henry Harrison, yes, the president, he later came to be president, they attacked Prophetstown in what became known as the Battle of Tippecanoe. The settlement was burned, the Confederacy fractured, and the seeds of a legend were planted. By the way, remember the road sign that I showed?
Yep.
When Chief Cornstalk did it, it was called a massacre. When we took over this entire town and killed every occupant, man, woman, and child, burned it to the ground, what's it called? The Battle of Tippecanoe. Big difference in the way those two are viewed, right?
My hometown named a bridge after some guy, and I won't get into details, but he literally burned the town down twice.
You've told that story before, yeah. You've told that before.
So yeah, I get it.
Yeah. And where was it? Yeah. The settlement was burned. The Confederacy that he was attempting to put together of all the Indian tribes was fractured. The seeds of a legend were planted at that spot. And now here's when history begins to blur with folklore. According to legend, Tecumseh, furious over the betrayal and the destruction, he placed a curse on William Henry Harrison and all future U.S. presidents elected in years ending in 0. Whether you believe in curses or not, what happened next is kind of hard to ignore. William Henry Harrison, the general that led the battle that did all of this, was elected president in 1840. He died of pneumonia 31 days later, the shortest presidency ever. 20 years later, Abraham Lincoln, elected in 1860. He was assassinated and died in office in 1865. 20 years later, James Garfield, elected in 1880, was assassinated in 1881.
Jeez.
20 years later, William McKinley, reelected in 1900, was assassinated in 1901. William G. Harding, elected in 1920, died of a heart attack in 1923, still in office. Franklin Delano Roosevelt, elected to his third term in 1940, died in office in 1945. John F. Kennedy, elected in 1960, was assassinated in 1963. Here we are, 1960, 120 years after William Henry Harrison was elected and died 31 days later, and every American president from 1840 to 1960 that was elected in years ending in 0 died in office. 7 presidents in a row, all elected in 0 years, all dead in office. Then came Ronald Reagan, elected in 1980. In 1981, just months into his presidency, he was shot in an assassination attempt. The bullet missed his heart by inches. He survived. Some say that Reagan broke the curse. Others say he merely dodged it. Then there's George W. Bush, elected in 2000. He served 2 full terms, no assassination attempts, no mysterious illnesses, did not die in office, just a normal presidency. And of course, we have Steve's favorite president, Joe Biden, elected in 2020. He served only 4 years, but like George Bush, a little bit of satire there in case you couldn't notice it. But like George Bush, there were no assassination attempts, no illnesses. So, is the curse broken, or is it just biding its time? Skeptics call it all up to coincidence. After all, 7 data points over 140 years isn't exactly statistical proof, but believers, and there are many, see a pattern that is too precise to ignore. And then there's the question, why years ending in 0? Some point to the Jupiter-Saturn conjunction, which occurs roughly every 20 years and also coincided with each of those elections. Could there be an astrological layer to the curse? So next time you hear about a presidential election in a 0 year, and when will the next one be? 2040. Maybe light a candle or say a prayer, just in case.
Well, that'll be about the time that you run for president, right?
Well, maybe it'll be the age of Trump. So according to what everyone seems to think now, that's the right time to run. You and I have said it. We did an episode once, right, about there should be a age beyond which you can no longer be elected to federal office, whether it's president, senator, congressman. We decided that if there is a mandatory retirement age for American pilots, is Congress and the White House, the presidency, not more important than that? So if we think that with advanced age means you need to retire as a pilot, why wouldn't we do the same for politicians at the federal level? But no, we just keep electing them.
I think there comes a definite point where you lose.
Something.
Well, I don't even think it's a cognitive thing.
Many
think
times
that-
it is. Not always,
maybe.
but many.
But even if you don't lose a cognitive thing, you lose the technological thing. You lose
Something.
what
Yes.
you lose contact with the people
Sure.
who are the youngest people voting for you. To be honest, I just a thought. Anywho, actually, in my head the other day, I was playing with the AI. I came up with an entire campaign if I were to run for public office.
Campaign slogan?
No, the whole thing.
Oh, the whole campaign. Okay.
I had a couple hours.
You heard it here first. Steve Lindsay's presidential campaign.
No, I
slogan.
didn't say president, just the office. I wanted to see what that process was like, the whole
Okay.
process.
So
And
what office is it we're running for?
we're not.
Oh, okay.
No,
Are we sure?
no, but we're not
Huh.
currently.
But no, we're not sure.
It would be something of a, obviously a local city manager, city, commissioner, something of that nature.
Why?
By what?
But I'm saying, why limit yourself like that? Mondami, who's now elected mayor of New York City, I forget what his previous qualifications were. I did hear that the most staff that he had ever managed, supervised in his entire life is a staff of 10. He now will be, when he's takes office, he's the elected mayor, he's not taking office, will have a staff of over 300,000 people. Talk about totally, and you're right. Earlier we said we try not to get political, but are you kidding me? Forget the fact that he's a communist. He's unqualified. There's nothing in his resume that says he's qualified.
And $1,000,000% unqualified to run the biggest city in the United States and one of the biggest economies in the world.
Yes. But he's going to have government run or government subsidized grocery stores.
Yep.
Can you imagine what the quality would be like of a
They've tried
government run
this.
grocery store?
Here's the thing, and I don't want to divert into
We
this,
are. I'm
but-
sorry to get us.
No,
off
no,
on
you're
such a
fine.
tangent.
But every single thing that he ran on, and this is what blows me away about people, how arrogant people are.
Most things, not everything.
90% of what he
Probably.
ran on has already been done somewhere else
Tried.
in the United States, tried, and failed miserably.
I agree.
And-
Do you know why, in my
people-
opinion, he got elected?
People are sick of status quo.
One of the biggest things, if you were to get rid of the nitty gritty and the government run grocery stores and just look at general themes, one of the biggest themes he ran on was it is becoming impossible to live in this city economically for most people. We've got to do something. That resonated with so many of the people. They were like, a lot of this sounds stupid, but we can't keep going on the track we're going. So that's the one thing that he ran on that I think kind of makes sense. The
Right.
the
No, no,
specifics are
the-
stupid.
The specifics, he
They're stupid.
when you start opening
Peeling
the
them
book and
back.
going through the pages,
Those are stupid. Every one that I've
ridiculous.
heard of.
It is no different than any other place if you wanted to be successful in the United States. The less government intrusion, the less government money coming out of your pocket into their pocket, the more successful the place is. Florida, Texas, Tennessee, these are all great examples of thriving economies where people are flocking. The brain trust is flocking to, the millionaires, the billionaires are flocking to. Nashville, Tennessee, if you want to see how fast the city can go from Lexington size to LA size because of good policy, look at Nashville, Tennessee. It is mind blowing. But
Excuse me.
and that's just the way it is. That's not me trying to be this or that, because we had a 20-minute conversation before we even started about how neither one of us really are Democrats or Republicans anymore.
We don't like either party.
Don't like either one of them.
Because we don't think either party is trying to help us. They're far more concerned about getting reelected. All
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
That's what they spend most of their time and efforts on.
Yeah. And until they start actually proving their worth, proving what they want to do for the American people instead of themselves, I ain't got time to listen to them.
I'm 60 years old. I
Yeah,
can't
you
tell you
old.
one problem. Yes, I am.
God,
I
he's
can't
old.
tell you one problem that I believe government has solved since I was a kid. Are you kidding me? You ought to solve a few just by accident.
Right?
Hey, but are you kidding me? No, and guys, I'm talking about both sides. Don't think this is liberal or conservative, because in my lifetime, Republicans have controlled all three seats in Washington many times: the White House, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. So have the Democrats. Both parties have had their chances. Both parties have had, we've gotten way too political. But into rant, I think you have yet another Native American curse for us.
I do. This one was one that I saw and I was reading and I was like, man, I really want to cover this. Mainly because I can say it.
There you go.
I
It
can
always helps.
There's a lot of these curses that speak, that are very Indian heavy speaking.
Yep.
If you don't speak that language, it's very hard for the
Absolutely.
Central Kentucky drawl tongue to say.
So we come up with workarounds like, crap, the last guy, Chief
Chief Cornstalk.
Cornstalk. When we can't pronounce it, we come up with our own.
We'll name him something
Roger
else.
Blake. There you go.
So let's talk a little bit about the Oot or the Ute curse on the Crystal River Valley. Chief Colorado's fire and doom on Colorado's cursed land. The Crystal River Valley is in western Colorado, stretching from Redstone to Marble, and it is in the Elk Mountains, which was a sacred Ute or Ute heartland for millennia, prized for its hot springs, its elk hunts, and spiritual peaks like Mount Sporus, the ancient mountain heart. In the late 1800s, forced removal by white settlers and miners shattered this harmony, leading to the Ute curse, a prophetic blight invoked by Chief Colorado circa 1810 to 1888 as his people were being exiled. Unlike Cornstalk's personal vengeance, this curse embodies Ute animism, a land as a living entity that rebels against violation, manifesting in its booms, its busts, and eerie failures that locals still attribute to this day, such as ghost fires, seismic unrest. It's less sensationalized than Mothman, but deeply woven into Pitkin and Gunnison County folklore. The Utes are Colorado's oldest inhabitants. Their ancestors came into the region over 12,000 years ago, and there were greater than 20 bands of northern Utes dominating the Crystal Valley in the Crystal River Valley. They were nomadic horse people post-Spanish contact in the 1540s, wintering in low valleys like Rifle and summering in high meadows for hunting. Sacred sites included the Penny Hot Springs for healing and trails over McClure Pass for migration. Colorado, born a Comanche, was captured by young Mauchi Utes and became a legendary warrior. Redskin. Colorado equals red. He raided Cheyenne and Arapaho, befriended trappers, and met President Grant in 1873. By 1860s, he led the White River Utes, roaming Glenwood Springs to North Park and clashing with all the gold rush interlopers. Think the 1859 Pikes Peak boom. Treaties in 1863 and 1868 ceded lands piecemeal, but the Utes retained the Crystal Valley. Chief Ouray negotiated peace, but Colorado, a fiercer, breaking his lance in defiance, resisted. The tipping point came in 1879, the Meeker incident at White River Agency, where Nathan Meeker's forced assimilation, plowing sacred fields, sparked an uprising. Oots killed Meeker and 10 others. 11 soldiers died at Milk Creek. Colorado Governor Frederick Pitkin exploited the panic, demanding that Oots be expelled from Colorado. Rid the state of the Oot Menace. This is where Utah State gets their name, the Utes.
Yep.
In 1880, the Boudreaux Agreement forced Northern Utes to Utah and put them on a reservation. Southern Utes got a slim Colorado strip. Coloradans band, 200 strong, was marched out, and their camps were burned in protest. The curse. So, as the Utes departed the Crystal Valley, sometime between 1880 and 1881, Colorado's group set up ritual fires, not destruction, but renewal. Ute tradition was to regenerate the land. Asked why, Colorado said, reportedly declared, grass will never grow on this land again. Anything the white man builds here is destined for failure. Variants invoke a holy man, possibly Colorado, cursing exploitation, mines collapse, fortunes vanish for as long as this river runs. Colorado's Apache heritage added layers, curses as warrior oaths. His wife's burial, as an example, in the valley fuels ghost lore. Her spirit and his haunt and enforce the hex. This aligns with Ute cosmology. Violated Earth via plowing and mining, summoned spirits like the Canyon people to sabotage intruders. So I couldn't find any reference to the Canyon people other than this particular story. But to say the least, here's a list of the things that have happened since the curse. 1900s to 1910, the marble boom. Colorado Yule Marble Company quarried the world's finest white marble for the Lincoln Memorial and Tomb. Over $12 million was invested, 500 people employed, but in 1970, floods and tunnels collapsed all of the operations. And by 1917, marble's production plummeted to 1,000 to 50.
Man.
In 1920s to 1940s, a coal basin mine exploded. In 1927, there were 2 dead. Osgood Castle in 1901 was bankrupt as John Osgood, the owner, was caught in many scandals and deaths. In 1950s to the 1980s, recurrent floods eroded towns, and ventures like luxury resorts had to fold. In fact, a 1980s castle project folded under bankruptcy and murder allegations. The 1990s to now, seismic activity, Ute-linked quakes. In 2003, Aspen Times article tallied endless failures and modern tourism thrives, but local tourists avoid night hikes, citing apparitions of Colorado and his wife. In 2023, Redstone Historical Society talks revive the lore, noting that Mount Sorpus weeps via many landslides. Economically, the valley's GDP swings wildly, 100 million plus from boom towns to ghost towns in just a matter of years. Money in, money out. Colorado died ultimately in 1888 of pneumonia. He was not in his perfect lands. His ponies were slain for the afterlife, and his descendants thrive, unfortunately, on reservations. The Utes will have the final word. Today, Ute artifacts surface in heights many times, a subtle haunt that they were once there.
These, you can say whatever you want. With every one of these we've covered, it's hard to say something wasn't going on.
Right?
I'm
I mean-
not saying the curses were real. I'm just saying it's hard to say something wasn't going on.
Well, that's the thing. You can if you had one thing, oh yeah,
Or
that's
two,
or even
maybe
three,
three. We're
four.
getting but when there comes a number, and you're like, wait a minute.
right. I mean, how many times can a very specific area, and I've been to this area, it's gorgeous, beautiful country. Western Colorado is in the mountain country, and just past that toward Utah, just gorgeous.
Known to be some of the most beautiful country in the United States.
In Denver, Colorado, mountainsides that you can't do anything with. $5 million an acre. That's how beautiful it is, right? So this is gorgeous country, and for it to have such huge economic swings, to have such calamity fall upon it with the floods and the mine collapses, even in the 1950s, when we were beginning to understand mining technology and we could go deeper than we'd ever been, these places were still having all of these issues.
Yep.
It's too much.
Hard to explain.
Hard to
Pretty
explain.
much unexplainable. Yeah.
So anyway, what do you want to do as far as, do Native American curses need more or less coverage? We got to do that.
Absolutely. I think they definitely need more. There's too much unexplained. We just got through saying it's unexplainable.
Right.
Until it is, it needs more coverage. Until you can explain this to the normal average person and say, here's what happened and here's how it happened. Not necessarily in every single instance of every supposed Native American curse, but at least in a bunch of them.
Right.
More coverage for me. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up for me too. I agree. Man, this has been an interesting episode. If you'll stay tuned, we have a great bonus story after this commercial break.
Hi, this is Ed Locke with USA Mortgage. Buying your first home can be overwhelming, but here are 5 tips to make the process go smoother. Number 1, find a lender, me, Ed Locke, that can answer any questions you might have and help you get pre-approved. There are multiple options available based on your situation. Number 2, work with a real estate agent you can trust. Number 3, don't rush the process. Take your time and know that the process could take some time. Number 4, consider all the costs. Number 5, get a home inspection and review it with your realtor. Keep these tips in mind, budget for yourself, and you'll be that much closer to making your dream of homeownership a reality. So reach out to me at 502-680-0953. NMLS ID 448908, DAS Acquisition Company, LLC, doing business as USA Mortgage, NMLS ID 227262. This is not a commitment to lend. Additional terms and conditions apply. USA Mortgage is an equal housing opportunity.
Want to suggest future episodes? Share your ghost, cryptid, or personal encounter stories? Or let us know how much you love or hate us. Reach out to us at newsworthywithstephenjerry.com.
And now, back to the story.
As we continue Kentucky After Dark series, Jerry, we move on up the street 12 minutes to Frankfort, Kentucky.
Not far away.
Not very far at all. Frankfort, as old as limestone cliffs surrounding it, has a death grip on people of the past. Between the famous Gray Lady ghost at Liberty Hall and Governor Goebel at the Capital City Museum, it's safe to say Frankfort is capital H for haunted. Not spooky enough? How about we delve into Frankfort's cryptid and creepy lore by the way of the Kentucky Deceased podcast? It's available through the Capital City Museum. Yes, you read that right. A haunted one. Other ghastly outings offered here include the Kentucky Deceased Haunted Walking Tour, glimpsing the spirit of a Spanish opera singer at Liberty Hall's famous gardens. The Murder and Mayhem Tour, also from the Capital City Museum, or the Beast of the Bluegrass tour at Fort Hill Park. After this tour of frights, you're going to need a shot of something strong, maybe from one of their haunted distilleries. Tonight's episode is brought to you by USA Mortgage and Ed Locke, 502-680-0953. USA Mortgage, the home of possibilities. Also by Smoking Gun Jerky online. Go to Smoking Gun Jerky at your nearest computer or on your phone. They have over 50 different choices of jerky. They have seasonings. They have marinades. On checkout, use code CRYPTID10 to get an amazing discount.
And Jerry, if you can't see the light,
Be the light.